When we think about technology, many of us picture a computer, smartphone, and now artificial intelligence or AI. But what if this view is too narrow? And what if expanding our perspective could help us navigate this wave of change with more clarity and less fear?
Expanding possibilities, the mindset zone.
I'm your host, Melikian. I'm here to support you, increase your impact while preventing burnout. The Mindset Zone is a place to pause, increase your self-awareness, and embrace the experimentation mindset. Find more resources, including information about the Mindset Zone book and audiobook at mindset.zone. Yes, instead of .com is .zone. Today, the goal of this episode is to build on the previous episode that was all about the AI 100-foot wave that is affecting most of us, especially if we are in business. And I'm going to be speaking about a mindset shift that I consider essential to empower us to work as a team to serve this wave of change. Because the cat is out of the bag. That is the reality. And we have the opportunity to leverage this technology and all the developments associated with it in a way that can build a better tomorrow and a better future of work. But we have to work as a team for making that happen. So, if that entices your curiosity, you are in the right place. And a very important thing to have into consideration is our human nature. Because it's normal that many of us have this tendency to see technology versus humanity. And even if you think about movies, science fiction is all about man against machine, humanity versus technology. And I will argue that, yes, that is something that we have in our consciousness, in our culture, but it limits us. And before I go on a different way of seeing it, I want to bring another thing. Because another tendency that we have is when we think about technology, we think about our phones, our computers, and now, again, ChatGPT, all these tools around AI. But if we bring a historical perspective into it, technology is much wider than digital technology and this high-tech stuff and gadgets. If we go to the origin of the word technology, from the Greek, it's like the etymology of the word, has to do about something, knowledge that we use to achieve a practical thing. So it's the craft and the knowledge to achieve a practical purpose. And from that, we can argue this is like an anthropology perspective. We can argue that technology has been there since the beginning of humanity. Humanity and technology have been intertwined from the beginning. Will be possible for us to develop as human beings if we didn't have the technology, the knowledge to control fire? Will it be possible to be what we are today in our evolution if we didn't have developed technology? Technology is really what allowed our ancestors to create tools out of stone. Think about the Stone Age. It's not easy to create something sharp out of a stone, or a spear end, or a knife out of stone. If you doubt it, go to your backyard or go to a park, pick two rocks, bang them against each other, and tell me the results. There is a lot of know-how about doing a stone tool. It's quite of a technology achievement that was essential 12,000 years ago for our ancestors, that and other developments, to move for being hunters and gatherers, to start to cultivate the land, to create what we call the first agricultural revolution, that allow people to become sedentaries, develop villages and then cities. That was the beginning of what we call now our civilization. Think about even the invention of writing. How many technological advancements had to happen for that to be possible? The tools that are needed to write in clay or in the rock or in the papyrus. Even creating the papyrus itself is a form of technology. And that allows us to develop writing systems that were essential for afterwards, about 2,500 years ago, to have the emergence of what we call the philosophy that then led to science. Or think about 500 years ago, Gutenberg Press, how that revolutionized everything and really allowed the conditions to emerge, to more people have access to knowledge that led to revolutions. Or just let's jump to the 20th century. It took us the first half of the century to develop computers that were big, so big that they occupy the space of a room. Then we have to wait for the second half of the century to have the technology necessary to reduce the size of the computer, to have the personal computers that we could take home. And then all the advancements that were necessary to be in place for the World Wide Web that now allow us to communicate all over the world. It took time. And then in the 2000s, we had social media emerging. First, we had LinkedIn in 2003, Facebook in 2004, Twitter in 2006. And then in 2007, with the iPhone and the other smartphones, our lives have changed forever. The way that we interact with each other changed. Now we take the social media everywhere we go, for good and for bad. Then on November 30, 2022, ChatGPT was released to the public. Now everybody is speaking about artificial intelligence. But the reality is that AI was already here. If you were using before YouTube, Spotify, Netflix, or any of the social media platforms, you were already using AI. We were just not so aware of it. If we were using things like face recognition in our iPhones to organize our photos, or if you had a Roomba cleaning your house, or you already had the experience of asking questions to Alexa or Siri, you already were using AI. But was like in these different buckets, and we were not very aware of it. What happened with ChatGPT was that this concept of the large language models, or LLM, became part of our awareness, and everything came together in so significant way, and in a way that we could use it straight away. We really just needed an internet connection and a device like a computer or a phone, and we could chat with the machine. We have these things that many call the generative AI and the chatbots, like tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, that allow us to have this interaction that create a transformation and brought to our awareness the power of these tools and to our fingertips. Because we now can do things that will take us days before in minutes. So it's really revolutionary. and is creating this 100-foot wave that is affecting everybody in business. So what I would like you to invite you to consider is to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing humanity versus technology, it's more empowering to see humanity and technology. Because, like I'm arguing here, technology has been there from the beginning of humanity. And we have always been the ones creating it and developing ways to relate with it. Yes, it changed us and changed everything. Like I said, 12,000 years ago was the agricultural revolution. Biologically, we are very, very similar to our ancestors 12,000 years ago. But our lives are totally different. And that is how we adapt with technology through the evolution of culture and everything around it. So this is not our first rodeo with technology. Humanity and technology have been intertwined from the beginning. That is the reality. And it's also real that now we have developed a very, very powerful tool or group of tools. This technology that we have available to us is very powerful. And what I will argue is that if we are strategic in the way that we use it, we can build a better future. There is an author that I love his book. His name is Ethan Mollick, and the book is called Co-Intelligence. And he has this quote that I adore. Humans, walking and talking bags of water and trace chemicals that we are, have managed to convince well-organized sand, silicone, to pretend to think like us. Quite incredible. How inspiring. Think about that. How it makes you feel. Maybe mixed feelings. There are so different feelings around all these technological developments and what it means for our future. And the question is, what can we do? How can we make sure that we are leveraging this for a better future? And I will argue that one of the things that we can do is to leverage this technology by learning about it. We have to increase our AI literacy. And if you are or know someone who is trying to ignore AI or not paying too much attention and they are in the business world, this is a danger place to be. And learning about AI can inspire to be part of this movement to create a better tomorrow. And if you are or know someone trying to learn everything and control everything and getting overwhelmed and even burn out with all the developments because it's impossible to keep the pace, maybe if they understand that they can have these incredible teammates around them, they do not have to do it alone, that can release some of the pressure. We absolutely can surf this 100-foot AI wave if we take this as a team sport. And a great resource to increase our AI literacy is the book that I referred just a moment ago of Ethan Mollick that is called Co-Intelligence. And it summarizes, in my opinion, this mindset shift because it's not human intelligence versus artificial intelligence. It's co-intelligence, living and working with AI. And I love a framework that he brings in that book that give us a specific 4 rules to navigate these troubled waters. The first rule that Ethan brings to the table is always invite AI to the table. In the sense that if we treat AI as this collaborator, and if we are inviting it to everything that we do, writing, researching, brainstorming, decision-making, we can learn about these tools and the potential here. And here the goal is not to know it all, but to experiment, to try using these tools and this technology to solve real problems, to help us in real tasks in our day-to-day. And that way we begin to uncover both the power and the limitations of these tools and of all these technological advancements. And the more we use it, the better we understand the nuances and the role that how we can use this to augment our own potential. So this is something that I love to do in workshops about this. It just invite people in the group to share the unusual ways that they are using tools like ChatGPT. For instance, just to give you a flavor of it, I know people that are using ChatGPT to make better crafts work. For instance, they have a sewing project. They want to do a top and they don't know how to achieve something. They can take photos of the sewing machine that they are using, the materials that they are using, what they have done that didn't work, and ask Chat to help them improve. And it does an incredible job. Who thought about that? It's incredible how the different ways that we can use that maybe are outside of our awareness. And by sharing, by asking, by bringing to the table the different ways that different people are using AI, we can learn a ton from each other. So that first rule, always invite AI to the table. The second rule for navigating these changes and to leverage this co-intelligence is be the human in the loop. Yes, we know that AI can hallucinate, mislead, and is not perfect in any way. That is why we must stay engaged. Let's not use AI in a lazy way. First answer, copy and paste. No, that is just average or low average. We should not outsource our own judgment to the AI. Our role is to ask the right questions, give the context, check, edit, refine, up-level the work, do better work. AI can help us to streamline many things, to automate many things, but we have to be in the loop. The AI outputs, we have to make sure that they are respecting and in alignment with our values, with our ethical context. And we as humans have to keep using and developing critical thinking. Now that is more important than ever. And this will keep us sharp and prevent us just to be lazy around it. We can use this. This is our responsibility. It's not just about productivity. We can do better if we keep being in the loop. So be the human in the loop is essential. So the third rule, so let me recap. The first rule was always invite AI to the table. The second rule was about be the human in the loop. And the third rule is treat AI like a person, but tell it what kind of person you want it to be. The best way to leverage the potential of tools like ChatGPT or Claude is treat it as if they were a person. And the way we are using the language to communicate with it, and it uses language to communicate with us. So let's leverage that. For instance, Mollick, in his book, Co-Intelligence, in this context, is encourage us to give it a persona with a certain context and boundaries. Yes, it gives us the permission in this context to anthropomorphize AI intentionally, to treat it AI like a person. For instance, you might say, act like my personal assistant. Act like my friendly writing coach. Think about AI as a teammate, a collaborator that you can brief and you can guide. And again, when I do workshops and building on this work, I like to say to my clients and people in the audience that see these tools as a savant intern. They know more than you can think is possible in many areas, absolutely. But like an intern, they are very naive or they lack the context in many different things. So you'd never trust the first version of the work that is put on the table. And you have to guide them. You have to give context. I even have developed a little framework that I call ACE, A-C-E, ACE your prompts, to help people to feel more comfortable in treat these ChatGPTs and similar tools and to know how to prompt them. And is A for the act as, so you can go, please act as, is give it a role. Really important to give that constraint of the role. And then the C is the context. Give it context. What are you trying to achieve? What you are trying to do? Because that will improve the quality of the results. And then the E is about engagement. Don't stay with the first answer. Even from the beginning, you can invite engagement by communicating with your chat. Do you need to know anything else in order to help me better? And engage with it. That way, you always are able to create effective prompts. And it's an effective way to treat these tools like an assistant, like a person, that savant in turn, and don't get out of the loop. All these rules go together and you have to experiment. So wonderful. So now, rule number 4. Assume this is the worst AI you will ever use. Today's AI, just the beginning. The tools that we have are going to be so archaic a couple of years from now. Even if you are impressed, future iterations will be smarter, faster, and more integrated with everything that we do. So we really have to approach AI and all these tools with a growth mindset. We have so much to learn. And today's experiments will give us an edge to increase what we can do. So think about this. Think about the potential of using this technology in an intentional way. And as more as you know of it, more power you have to influence it. And if you bring a team to the table, then is when the magical can happen. So it's really important to take that into consideration. Pause if you need for a moment to reflect about all this. Think about what was the aspect of this episode that resonate more with you, what awareness it brought about your beliefs around AI, your beliefs about yourself, what mixed feelings can you identify, what else can you be doing, and experiment with it. Play with this, because as more as you know about it from different aspects of it, the better conversations you can have with other people about it, and you can really be part of this team surfing this 100-foot AI wave to build a better future for all of us. So stay tuned for the next episode where I'm going to reveal mindset shift number 2. Bye for now.
Expanding possibilities, the mindset zone.
If you can think of a person who will find this episode helpful, please share it. Spreading the word about the Mindset Zone podcast is very powerful. For extra resources, including information about the book and audiobook, Mindset Zone, Actualize Your Human Potential, go to mindset.zone. Yes, instead of .com is .zone. As always, I'm so grateful that you are here. Expand what's possible for you, for the ones around you, for the world.